All right. Hopefully it says I'm live. Whoops. Let me make sure the music volume's good too. Still setting up a little bit. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for yet another Moonshire Monday. Already got a lot of people in the chat. And Allfather, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate that. Such a nice start to the stream. That's amazing. Wolf, hi, welcome in. We got Angry Berry and Snippet. It's lots more folks still pouring in, so I'll give you guys a few more minutes. I still need to set up like a minute-long countdown for the stream start so that everyone like sees it at the same time. I think there's a bit of latency between when I start the stream and when everyone else sees the start of the stream, so sorry for anyone else that was experiencing that. But seeing a lot more people. Celso and Ethan likes FNF. That's a very, very good name. Thank you for being here, Dimitri. Today I'm going to be working on some pixel art and some characters. So specifically I'll be working in a sprite. I'll probably work on this little guy. So specifically what I want to do is make it so that every character can do any action. So I was kind of frustrated that I was writing all this code for enemies, like the enemies can jump around and do stuff, but the people, like the human characters, they're just like stuck in place, like this guy, or this, whoops, that looked weird, or this person down here, like they're just stuck in place. The NPCs don't have any sort of like logic to them. They don't move and they don't do anything other than just stand in place and you can talk to them. But the goal here is that I want to make all of the NPCs just use the same object as the enemies. So everything is going to behave like, I called them mobs. So like here in this case, like in this example, I can spawn a human shopkeeper. And if I do that in the game, it crashes because looks like things are still not quite right. So let me fix this real quick. 21. Oh yeah, I need to make it so that every NPC, or sorry, every mob. Should I make it so that every mob has a talk object? Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. So not all mobs are able to talk. Like if it's an enemy, you can't talk to an enemy, but this is like a human character. So I will still set it so that by default, they still have a talk object like this. Mob.talk equals this. So to be clearer about what I'm doing here is this talk table is going to contain a list of all the strings or like all the text that the NPC will say if you talk to them. And by default, it's empty because by default, most mobs don't say anything. But I made it so that in the specific like class file, like in this case, this is a human file, I can have different, I called them flavors. So like this is the shopkeeper flavor and the sailor flavor. I should change the word to something different. What's a better word than flavor? Because all this means is like type. The thing is, I can't use the word type. Well, I guess I could. But the word type is like a reserved word, so I don't like using the word type. Some programming languages see the word type and they interpret it differently than just like saying the word type. Legendary Rose, I'm the best. Thank you. I appreciate that. Useless failure guy Ayub. Please make Lua advanced course. I hear ya. I think there's a few people that would like something like that. Lua as a language though is relatively straightforward. In fact, even that intro video on my channel, the Learn to Code with Lua, I'd say it covers all the main fundamentals. Like I'm still using the same table stuff here. And look, I'm still using the same, like, I'm passing in a bunch of strings as parameters, and then the last parameter is a table, and it's a table of arguments. So really, I don't know how much use an advanced course would be. I'm sure in some ways it would be useful. I could come up with, like, I'm sure I could make something that, like, shows all these little tricks and teaches you how to make the most of Lua tables. Because really, if I made an advanced Lua course, that basically just means It's a table course. It's a course on how to use tables. That's all there really is to advanced Lua coding. Is the stream quiet? I don't think so, but let me know if I should turn the volume up on anything. Hopefully everything is at the right levels. Can I make NPCs actually get hurt when hit? Yeah, so that part is true. I can do that. So that bug that just crashed the game should be fixed now. So when you hit an NPC, they do get hit. So I lied. They do actually have some extra functionality that's similar to an enemy in that you can hit them. But this is the old humans, like the old NPCs, and I changed it so that now I can tell a human to do anything. So over here where I'm spawning this human shopkeeper, I'm telling it to be idle. So that means when I spawn that shopkeeper, she's just standing there and she's idle. She's not doing anything. But if I change it so that instead of being idle, she is attack. She's attacking, and her target is player 1. And let's try this. Chat is active today. Yeah, I appreciate everyone talking in chat. Maybe people are liking the new time or more energized in the morning. I'm actually a little bit more energized this morning. I'm feeling good. So I changed it so the shopkeeper will attack the player now. So let's see what happens. It looks pretty weird. She's like sliding across the ground. And it doesn't look very good. If she gets close enough, she tackles me, which is kind of weird. That's kind of mean. So what I want to do today is I want to make a requirement for any like human character. I would like to make it so that every human character can walk, because this looks just terrible. Obviously, she's gone. We don't have to look at her anymore. She can't hurt anyone anymore. Okay, so I'm probably gonna try and add a walk cycle to this guy and to the shopkeeper. She has the old eye design. Let's see. Give me 1 second while I pull this up. Alright. I wouldn't say it's the old eye design because, yeah, the farmer looks like this too. Yeah, so I think the 3 characters I want to work on today are these 3. And it's gonna be a pretty rough job. The default talking text could be ... followed by it has nothing to say to you. Yeah, it could. At first I was gonna make it so that if there was no talk object at all, it would that would be the indicator of if they could talk or not. But I think it'd make more sense to always have a talk object and then just check the contents if there's anything to talk about. I want to start with the excuse me. I want to start with the shopkeeper. So this sprite, or the sprite sheet, I should say, the whole thing is 72 by 30. So let's change the canvas size to be 72 by 60. Okay, so now we have this section up at the top and the other section at the bottom. Are these the right dimensions? Yeah. Yeah, 72 by 30 is pretty typical. So then I'm going to take these, and then I'm going to move them down to the bottom. Do I have a dialogue scene? Yeah, so I'll show you that. It's half broken right now, but I have it partially working. So like this sign is something that I worked on, and this is what the dialogue boxes are going to look like now. So this is what happens when the dialogue box is like an instant pop-up, but there are also text boxes that like iteratively show everything. I'll make a video on it soon because I have a lot to say about the dialogue and the text boxes and stuff that in fact I'm planning to make it open source so anyone will be able to use it if you're using Love 2D. Art takes a lot of time. It takes a ton of time. And that's kind of what I was going to say, is that art is not my primary skill. I'm not super good at art, so we're kind of going to flub our way through this. And after I'm done, I'll probably hand this over to an actual pixel artist to touch it up and make it look better. Am I going to make a pixel font? So that's another thing I'll probably discuss, because I have mixed feelings. Maybe I could apply both and make it so that you can choose if you want a pixel font or a regular one. But personally, I think the aesthetic of a pixel font looks nicer. Like it fits the world better. But a high-res, normal-looking font, it's so much easier to read. And that to me is more important in the long run. So I think that I'm going to probably, have it as a settings option or something like that. So I'm gonna make a very simple walk cycle for her, and it's gonna look really bad. In fact, I don't even know how to animate this because she doesn't have legs; she just has feet. So let's do something really dumb. It's probably not gonna look good at all. I might be embarrassing myself with this stream, but whatever. Deal with it. If you don't like my pixel art, you're probably right, because it really is a struggle for me sometimes. Like, that kind of looks okay. Okay, we'll do something like that. Like we're gonna take it one step at a time. It doesn't have to look very good. And also, I should probably do this using the animation setup. So let's do what is it, 24 by 30, and then we'll animate it using the frames. Because that's something someone mentioned last time, is that I spend a lot of time animating on a sprite sheet like this, when it makes a lot more sense to use the frames within tiled, so I can, or not tiled, a sprite, so I can actually see it animated. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you in just a second. So we'll take this updated version. So you'll see that here in Sprite, I have two frames. I have this one, and I have this one. So there's now two of them. And what's nice about Sprite is that you can like play the timeline, and it'll show you what the animation looks like when it's played back. Whereas before, like, I was just like putting them onto the sprite sheet. It's a lot harder to animate that way. So I really should do it this way. And let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit more. This looks really bad, but that's okay. As long as it looks better than standing still. How often do I watch games from scratch? A lot. I probably say at least once. I'd say I click on one of his videos once every other week. Okay. She's got her arm out. This looks so funny. This is gonna be a massacred sprite by the end of it, and it's gonna be amazing. Maybe they should bob up and down. Oh yeah, and they will. There's a lot of steps I need to put into this. Yeah, bobbing up and down is a really big step to a walk cycle. I remember when I first started working on games and animating things like that. The walk cycles, I know what you mean. Like how I used to put no bobbing, no vertical change in how the NPC was moving. And it just makes it look so weird and so bad. Okay. Oh, I did sprite. Oops. Whoops. I wasn't paying attention. There we go. And then this one. Oh. Have I played Shovel Knight? Yes! Actually, I played Shovel Knight on the 3DS. So I got the 3D experience. How insane is that? I loved Shovel Knight. I didn't play any of the DLCs, though. You can also view window by clicking button in the bottom right corner. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool. I didn't know that I had this. So you can just, like, play the animation back. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that you could do that. I'm probably going to use that. That's neat. Okay, so this one, I actually need to fix this one. I was applying the arm changes to the wrong one. Like a fool. Make her 3 frames long. Yeah, I probably will. Well, it depends. It depends on how I can animate it, because the more frames, the more complex it gets, and I might want to just keep it simple at first, because I animated I got a little bit of help animated the player's animation, but let me show this. Because the player's walk cycle has 6 frames. This row right here. These are the walk cycle frames for the player. And it is kind of like it's like it's like 2 different 3-frame cycles, because here's the first step here, followed by the second step here. And it's 6 frames. But it took a long time to make this. Like, I know that these are really small sprites, and you'd think, oh, well, you could make this in a few hours. No, this took an insane amount of time. I could just go a step further and show you some of the in-progress versions. No, not this one. I have so many, like... Oh, here, I think it's this one. Oh, no, this is an old version of the character. Look at this. Wow, it looks so weird. And then, like, I can see my progress as I change the dimensions a little bit. I think there's more to it. Yeah. It does look a lot better like this. It is way better. Tigers, hi, welcome in. We'll roll her into a ball villager. I do like that idea in some ways. I don't know if she'll be recognizable as a ball. Also, I need to, like, sit up straight a little bit better, because I have poor posture in general. Do I code in Java? No, not anymore. When I was in college, I did. So they used Java for my college, my CS degree. So going back to this one, you know, honestly, that's not terrible. It looks, it's not good. I'm not gonna call this a good walk cycle. It's actually kind of funny. Her hand on the right, it looks like it's just like growing. I'll probably just keep it like this. It looks really funny. And then I'll have a proper pixel artist make this look nicer. But for now, I'm just going to take these 2 frames. Oh, and the other thing is, like, I don't even plan to have this character walk, so these sprites don't have to look very good to start with. And here we go. Whoop! Sometimes a sprite's annoying where I try to copy the image, but it copies the frame, and then it overlays the... It's weird. I don't like that. Okay. Is that right? I need to make sure that her head lines up. Yes, it's good. Hydration, thank you. Do I think I'm going to make another game after Moonshire? Oh, definitely. I love game development. I've been making games for a long time, and I have no plans to stop. I would go so far as to say that, like, this game is just the start. This was more of a learning experience for me. I mean, I've been working on this for so long, and there's still very little game here. I'm still kind of reworking the same systems over and over again. And to me, like, that sounds like wasted work, right? But to me, it really isn't, because I am growing so much. I'm getting so much better at coding and at pixel art and design and level design and figuring out how to make mechanics like work together in nice ways. And even though it's made this game take forever to get to this point, it's paying off. And what I'm trying to say is that the next game I make after this is going to be so much smoother. I say that, but it probably won't. But hopefully it'll be smoother than this, and I can take all of the learnings from this game and apply it to that one. My mic looks like a cable monster. Yeah, a little bit. I should have checked to see how far I was on stream. You know, a big problem with my shot with this filming setup is that I'm wearing a black shirt, my mic is black, and then the TV is black. So I need to probably change some things. For a while I had it so that the TV was on and was like showing my PlayStation library, but it just doesn't look very good on camera. Why am I making the sprite sheet by hand? Oh, because I don't know. You know, why am I? I can tell you, well, I don't have a good reason. It just makes more sense to me. Because it is nice for me knowing exactly how the PNG final image is organized. Because then I have to translate this layout over into here. Because now that I have a walking animation, I can do this. Animations, I'll call this, do I call it move or walk? I can't remember what I have set for this, so let's go to mob move. I think I call it move, actually. Yeah, at the moment it's just move. So I can have an extra check here. Local move stir equals move. If not, or how about if mob dot animations dot walk, then move stir equals walk. You know, that's kind of hacky to do it this way. It would be better for me to have, here, how about this? Mob dot move anim equals walk. That is better, because then you can configure this in like the config file, rather than me having to hard code it into this. So we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna say if dot, or if mob dot move anim, then move stir equals that, and then here we go. So now that should take care of the walk. Well, no, I need to configure it still. So the row, here's where you configure the animation. If I go back to, whoops, if I go back to a sprite, the tile sheet looks like, or the sprite sheet, it looks like this, where this is the first row, this is the idle animation, and this is the second row. This is the walking animation. And I made it standard in this game where every animation goes from left to right. Or sorry, from your perspective, it's from left to right. It's hard when my camera's inverted. So that way I can just go in here, and then you say row is 2 and column is 1 to 2. And then the speeds, I'll make the speed 0.5. And I think that's actually going to be enough to do it. So if I spawn, oh, okay, it broke. There's no frame for x equals 1, y equals 2. Oh, did I not save? I didn't save yet. That was my bad. I forgot to save my sprite. You can preview the animation, or preview the sprite sheet from your animation with Control E. Let's check it out. Here she was. Control E. Whoa! Okay, so that's a shortcut to export sprite sheet. So let's see. layout. Wow, this actually does have a lot of options by rows. Yeah, this I should embrace technology. I'm like a caveman. I prefer making my sprite sheets manually by hand, but there's these things called computers, and they're amazing, and they can do things automatically for you sometimes. Like this. That's pretty cool. It can just like make this for you. And you can organize it based on rows and columns and stuff. I could still make it work for this. Any excuse I give for not using it is a bad excuse because it works. It would work fine. Is it okay if I make a game called MOONSHIRE for April? That sounds awesome. Yeah, go for it. I love that idea. If you use layers, you might get what you want, but not sure. I mean, when you use layers, I use layers in lots of cases. I show this a lot, but the player sprite sheet is organized in layers so that you can change each individual piece. So here we have this is an example that's all red, and like I have the eye layer and the head layer and the body layer, and I got an arm, got the belly, and we got the feet. So I love layers, and I use them a lot. Now, would it be better if I organize this sprite, like this a sprite file? Should I organize this a sprite file into like using the frames and organizing each one of these into an individual frame on the timeline, and then I could Control E to export the sprite sheet on the fly, you know, whenever I needed it. It'd probably be better. I'm not gonna lie. Let's be real. Chalcade, hi, welcome in. The doppelganger Chalcade. It's the substitute. The shadow Chalcade has returned. Can you tell us how you have done color selection for a sprite? Yeah, that's a good question. So to start, I did start with a, what do you call it, a color palette, and I got it from this website called Low Spec Palettes. And I'll show this real quick. Do not process my personal information. Okay. So here we are. We got a palette list. And yeah, so when you just go to the site, palette list or low spec, palette of the day, latest palettes, there's so many really cool ones. So I browsed the gallery, I guess. Oh, not the gallery. I browsed palettes. And I just went through these. I went through these until I found one that I liked. And coincidentally, the one I found was called Lua. It was called Lua something. Search by name. It's called Lua P. Oh yeah, Lua P40. Here it is. Oh my gosh, wow. So here's the story behind it though, is that this palette is what I started the game with. And you might notice that these colors are very desaturated, where the real colors that I use, I loaded this palette, these are the same colors up here, I increased the saturation. So really, legitimately, I took the color palette, which I think I have it right here. Nice, I'm glad I have this. So this is the color palette, but this is after I edited it. The original version looked more... Kaya, hi! This is just 50 cents, but I really wanted to do this. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's so kind, I appreciate the donation, thank you. I was going to show that the original saturation, it looked more like this. And I'm like, these colors are a little desaturated, which means they look gray. There's not much color popping to it. So all you have to do is just increase the saturation bar and pop it up. And yep, and that's how I made my new colors. Now, a color enthusiast would see what I just did, and they would say, that's not how you make sprite sheets. That will not work. These colors are no longer coherent. And that's true, but at the same time, I can't tell. They still look good, and I like more saturated colors, so I'm gonna keep it this way. I don't care. I like it. I like these slightly more eye-popping colors, but I like the color selection of Lua P. I sent myself money. Thank you, Chalcade. That's a really, really kind donation. Really obscure but Lua with red cloak and eyes looks like Cherry Ball and Pokeball or Pokemon. Let me see. I can't remember that one. Oh, did you say Cherry Ball or Cherish Ball? It's Cherish Ball. I remember the Cherish Ball. Is there actually a Cherry Ball? That'd be hilarious if there is. They should make a Cherry Ball. Is this tax evasion? Is like if the what is it? If some doppelganger pays me money, that is kind of like what money laundering looks like. You're just dumb. No, I like the Cherry Ball. In fact, I'm gonna start calling it the Cherry Ball. No, I remember the Cherish Ball. In fact, I think that all of the 20th anniversary event Pokemon came with Cherish Balls, and I got every single one of those. I was so into Pokemon Gen 6. That was my time. That was my time to shine. Well, I guess really Gens 1 through 6, but Gen 6 is when I was like an adult and I had money and I could actually go to GameStop and get those stupid cards because I could drive myself there. Man, being an adult is awesome. I love it. Pokemon's real name, Pocket Monster, but Nintendo shortened the name. I mean, yeah, it's a really good name though. What do I think of Libra Sprite? I'm pretty sure Libra Sprite is just as good as A Sprite, with a few differences. So what's nice about A Sprite is that it's constantly being updated, and like this is the definitive like version that people are working on. But Libra Sprite is just a different compiled version that someone is offering for free for you to download. But A Sprite is also free to get because you can go to the A Sprite GitHub and just get the code and compile it yourself. Or you can buy it, and when you buy it, you get the updates automatically, and you get the routine compilations, which is nice. Had to wake up early for the stream. I do appreciate you getting up early, Wolf. I know that this is an earlier time for you. It's an earlier time for me, honestly, because what I do like to do, the previous time of noon was better for me, just because I like having my lunch at 10:30 and then chilling out and then streaming. But it's just I like this time better, just universally. I think that this time is good for the United States. It's great for Europe, and it's not good for Asia or Australia, but it's tolerable sometimes. You know, before it was at midnight, and now it's at, 10 p.m. At least you can stop it and say hi. So, have I done any Have I joined any game jam of month? Well, I've only done one game jam. It was the GMTK Game Jam 2022, I think, was when I did it. And I loved it. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a lot of work, though. It was tough. It's 11 p.m. Philippines. Yeah, so 11 p.m. that's not a good time by any means. Don't get me wrong. But that is better than 1 a.m., which is what it used to be. Have I watched Murder Drones? No, I haven't heard of that. Why did I choose pixel art? I chose pixel art because I started when I was a kid. I started in Game Maker, and with Game Maker, there's like a built-in sprite editor, and I would just draw sprites and draw my own characters and make them move, and that's how I would got better at pixel art. And that's really the main reason, is that since I've been doing it so long, that's the only type of art that I consider myself decent at. And I might as well lean into my strengths. Like I think that a high-res art style probably would look better overall, but I'm better at pixel art, and I'm able to make good-looking pixel art, or at least I can collab with people to make good pixel art, and I can edit it to be good. So it's just within the scope of my capabilities, and in general, probably pixel art is a little bit easier to get started with compared to other art styles. So there's a few reasons. Am I working on a new devlog video? Yeah, I'm sorry it's been taking so long. I've been working on it for... Has it been a month now? I've been working on the same video for a very long time. There's just been a lot of hiccups that have kept it from being published. The thumbnail is just taking longer than expected, and then there were problems with the filming of it where I had to reshoot. And then there was the one thing I wanted to... That really stopped me was the dialogue box, because there's a part in the video where I'm like, should we use pixel art fonts or should we use high-res fonts? And in order for me to show the high-res font of that, I had to actually implement this. And man, I spent so much time working on this dialogue system, and it turned out amazing, by the way. I'm going to publish this code. I'm going to make it open source. It's so good. I promise. You're going to like it if you want to use it. But it took way too long. Like, I have a game I'm supposed to be making. I shouldn't be spending so much time making open source dialogue text code. There's no reason. Do I plan to do DLCs to Moonshire? If I did DLCs, they would be like Hollow Knights, because I loved Hollow Knight's setup for their DLCs, where they're just free updates. Like, calling them DLCs, that makes it sound worse than what they actually are. They're free big expansions. They are awesome, and I would love to do the same thing. Why I love 2D instead of Unity or Godot? Just when I was researching the different options for game frameworks, this is just the one that I like the most. I tried them both out, because all of them are free, by the way. If any of them, download it and try it. And if it feels good to use and you're able to make good games with it, then keep it up. But if you try it and it doesn't feel right, or like you're struggling, then try something else. But like, they're all going to be hard, by the way. You're going to struggle regardless, but some of them you'll struggle with less than others. You're struggling with dialogue systems in my game. It's tough. So I can show a few more examples of that real quick. I showed it more last stream, but I have, let's see, I called them lips. Oh, here they are. M. Oh, and then you can keep it going forward. Yeah, and all the letters pop up. And I have the stems that come off of it. It's a pretty good system. Excuse me. I mean, it looks good, but really the part that I think is actually good is that I was able to combine it all into one library. I called it lip service, and all of the code is contained in this one file, and any Love2D project is just able to include this file, and then your text bubbles will pop up immediately. It's awesome. It's really, really good. I'm excited to share it and talk more about it. Grimm's boss soundtrack. Dude, I have a confession. I wasn't able to defeat, or to beat the Nightmare Grimm battle, the last one. I probably could if I gave it another shot, but Hollow Knight was the first like Souls-like game that I ever played, and I wasn't used to super bosses or hard bosses that were that technically challenging, and I didn't really understand the idea of you know, fully mastering a boss's skill set to memorize its attack patterns so you can avoid all the hits. And I mean, I understood that that's how you were supposed to do it, but it was so hard that that was the first time I just couldn't do something. I was surprised. Do I have other work than game developer? No, not anymore. So over a year ago, I worked at Microsoft. I was a Microsoft developer for like 5 years, and yeah, no, I'm retired now, so I just work on this game. Or, you know, calling it retired, I just don't work as a developer anymore. Looking forward to the open source version. Oh, thank you. You're my inspiration for game dev. I appreciate that. Is nicer and sarcastic? I don't know what that means. The camera is way too floaty for it. Oh, well, so I have something different for the camera. So if I spawn an enemy... Oh! Okay, that's weird. I don't think the camera is too floaty, because the camera actually pans towards the action. So here you can see the player is no longer in the middle of the screen anymore. It's panned towards the enemy, because that's where the interesting stuff is. And if there were multiple enemies, it like creates a vector towards the best, you know, the best shift. The transparent background of the dialogue feels out of place. I'm with you, and there's lots of room for adjustments, and I'm sure I'm going to be changing how things look here. But what you're saying is that, like, I have a high-res bubble, and it's transparent. You know, I can understand that that doesn't really fit the aesthetic when I could use a pixel art border, and I could. In fact, I think that the code can support a sprite right now, but I personally do like the transparent look and the high-res font, because it's so distinct from the pixel art, it pops out almost. Like, it feels like it's in front of everything, and that's almost what I want, because a text bubble isn't part of the world. A text bubble is like a representation of sound. So it's not really... It's okay if something like this visually doesn't match the aesthetic, in my opinion, you know, but at the same time, though, as development continues, it's possible that in like a few months I'll look at this and say, ugh, what was I thinking? Because that happens a lot. I say blech a lot because I make a lot of mistakes. Use the wooden background. Yeah, I could. So the thing is, the more effort I put into that, it needs to be... How do I explain this? This transparent background that I made for the text bubble, even though it's simple and it arguably doesn't fit the aesthetic, the nice thing about it is that it fits every aesthetic a little bit. Is that this isn't offensive to any style. And if I were to try to make a wooden background for this bubble to match like the signpost, it would have to be a very good looking texture in order for it to fit in better than this. Because I'm with you. There's room for improvement here. This text bubble doesn't fit in that well. But it fits in well enough that it almost makes any other work on it not worth it. Because if I try to make a wooden background, I don't think it would fit in unless I put in a ton of time making it like perfect. So I don't know if the time cost benefit is worth it there. Looks very pretty. I will buy when you release it. Will it be on Steam? Yeah, it's actually on Steam right now. You can play the demo. But this demo is a little bit older. The language is amazing. Yeah, I love 2D, and well, I mean, the language is Lua, but I really like Lua and Love 2D. I like Lua just because of the tables. They really make sense to me. I've gotten so good at like these modular setups where you can just override specific aspects. It's working out really nicely. I'm liking it a lot. Oh, when we're gonna test the NPC. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Okay, so there she is. It looks pretty bad. But okay, so first, a few things. One, we're gonna make that animation faster because that was very slow. We're gonna make it like 2:2. Does the demo support Linux? No, I'm sorry, it doesn't. Unless you used Wine. So let's try this now. It's not gonna be a little bit faster. There's open source ones made by wrong hackers. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. That like, so I'm reinventing the wheel here is kind of what you're saying, and I'm with you. I was thinking about that as I was developing this, is that this lip service thing that I made, it's really nice, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. But I bet there's already something out there that does something like this. The difference here, though, is at least mine is in Lua, and it's specifically tailored to, well, I shouldn't say it's that specifically tailored to Love 2D. I could make it even more modular so that non-Love 2D engines could use it, and I probably will, because the game I work on after this, I'll probably make it in a 3D game engine, so it probably won't be Lua, and I'll want to make this work with it. Tables are the most versatile in the language. Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's the unusual thing about this language is that in general, most programming languages have multiple types of data structures. Like you have queues or dictionaries or linked lists, well, you know, whatever else you got going on. But Lua just has the tables. Tables can act like a queue, and they can act like a list, and they can act like whatever else you need to use them for. They can act like classes even. I use them as if they were open source, or not open source, object-oriented code classes. Make 3D games in Roblox. Yeah, I guess I could, but you know, really, I should do that to see what it's like, and then I can make a video on it, but I probably wouldn't do that long term just because Roblox as a platform probably isn't something that I want to invest too much time into. But at the same time, like, that's got a pretty big user base. It'd be fun to make something for it and get a lot of people to play it. run Moonshire on a school Chromebook. I think that will be very difficult because it doesn't run on Chrome OS. Tables scare me on the low level. I could see that. I don't know how they work on the low level. Chalcate, stop saying weird stuff. I finally got it. Something was bugging me about the feel of the game. It's the lack of UI elements covering the screen. Oh, well, yeah, so I have it turned off. Yeah, so I have, there's these 2 moons up in the corner. That shows your armor and then the health underneath of it. I also have the FPS showing, but I can turn that off too. Show FPS. Yeah, I will agree that it did kind of look uncanny. It looked very video-y when I didn't have a HUD. But yeah, I turn the HUD off whenever I'm recording footage for the videos just because it looks nicer on camera, especially on shorts. Like, I cannot have these showing on shorts. Chrome OS supports Linux. Okay. Well, I mean, the game's not running on Linux yet. I'm a huge Hollow Knight fan, and I think I'll make my room into a Hollow Knight themed room. That's pretty cool. I have a plush of the Hollow Knight, and I have a poster, and I have the vinyl. I have the vinyl set. I showed it on stream once. I don't want to get up and go get it, but yeah, I'm a big Hollow Knight fan too. What's my specs? If you're talking about my computer specs, it's not anything too interesting. It's just an Intel i7 with like a MTX 3040. Is that what it is? The video card. It's something really mid. But I have a lot of RAM. I just bought a few extra sticks because I had the extra slots. Might as well put some in there. Do I wear glasses to see clearly? Yeah, I wear glasses because I always get this mixed up because if I'm really up close, I can. They help. They help. So my eyesight's pretty good. I can go about my day-to-day without glasses if I had to. If I left the house without my glasses and had to go about the whole day without them, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. In fact, I probably wouldn't even notice. But when I'm reading, like when I sit down and I look at my phone and I'm not wearing my glasses, I do notice. Like if I was trying to stream right now without my glasses, if the text is too far away, which right now it is, I can't read it very well. It's kind of tough. I have to like squint and get closer. So my glasses do help me, but they're low prescription. They're not very strong. They're just enough to be useful. Have I ever played Eastward? It's a pretty cool game. I want to try it. That no. Which area section of Hollow Nest was the hardest for me? The hardest. I'm thinking back. I'm gonna say the arena because I choked so many times at the last boss, and the arena is so frustrating. Or the Coliseum. The Coliseum is so frustrating because it's such a long process and it's super intense. And then like I get to the final boss of that area, and I'm like shaking, and then I choke, and then I lose. Oh, I also choked at the end of Path of Pain. I finished Path of Pain, but then I died to the 2 guards at the end, which was very sad. So I didn't get to see the final cutscene. But then I looked up the final cutscene, and I was I'm like, that kind of sucked. So I'm glad I didn't miss very much. Am I going to buy Nintendo Switch 2? I'll definitely buy it at some point. I haven't pre-ordered it, and I don't think I'm going to buy it at launch because I don't think I'm going to stream anything from it. I don't. If I'm going to stream any games, it's probably not going to be Switch 2 games, but I'll keep up with it, and as soon as like the price is right or I see a good deal or I'm able to get it easily. Honestly, what it comes down to is if I'm able to get it easily, then I'll buy it because I'm going to get it eventually. The price doesn't bother me too much. In fact, $450 for a console I think is okay. Like I spent more on my Steam Deck, I think. Should you use State Machines add-on plugin or make my own? Personally, I don't use anything like that. I just have every object has its own states, its own variables that control what it does. You can have a global state variable that everything can look at to keep track of those things. How do I make rain my game? Let's see. Do I have a rainy area? Okay, so here's a rainy area. That it's unfinished, obviously. So the way the rain works is the level is constantly spawning at each individual position the final landing place. Good night. Hi, Kaya. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate that. Yeah, I know it's late for a lot of you folks, so if anyone needs to drop out, no worries at all. Left of the village has rain. Yeah, this little in progress area. Level calculates the landing position for each raindrop, and it's constantly calculating these different landing positions. And when it calculates one of those positions, it spawns a raindrop, but it spawns that raindrop way up and to the left. So you can see all of the raindrops are falling from from here all the way down to here. Like it's an up left direction. So it calculates the final landing position, and then it moves it up and to the left, and then it tweens it really fast from the up left position really fast down to the landing position. And once that tween completes and it hits the landing position, that's when it spawns the tiny splash. So you have to look really closely to see it. And maybe I can make the game speed lower. So look really closely at the ground where the rain is landing, and maybe I can zoom in too. So when the raindrops land, it's hard to catch on camera. When the raindrops land, they leave a really small splash. Yeah, like there. I caught it on camera there. It's hard to catch on camera because it's so quick and so fast. But you can kind of see them. It's faded, but, you know, you can see it. And that little splash, that just ends the whole process. And it's doing that constantly. Like you can see that it's spawning so many of those little splashes. Yeah, I'm sorry that it's hard to see. If you're watching it in 144p, I don't know if it'll be visible. But I'm doing my best. Yeah, with streaming is that my monitor is very big, so I need to make sure that if I'm showing anything small, somehow I need to like zoom it in or make it more clear. And it doesn't help that this particular map is so dark. It's hard to even see anything. But let's bump the game speed back up. Actually, let's bump it up to 2. Very fast. It feels like most people I've spoken to in the industry, game design document is a bit static and needs updating here and there, which takes a lot of dev time. I personally just use Miro myself for now. Yeah, my opinion on game dev, my opinion on game dev or game design documents is that they're not worth it. So maybe, and let me rephrase that. If you're a solo developer, definitely not worth it. So I take notes. I use OneNote, and I take notes on everything. If I have any ideas, I write them down. If I have a plan for something, I make sure it's documented. So there's no problems there. But the issue is that a game design document is organized and planned out, and like you said, it's static. It implies that it's not changing. And the problem with that is that the game is going to change over time a lot. My game is way different now than what I started out to be, in a good way. If it was the same as what I started it out to be, it would be a very generic Zelda-like game with nothing special about it. I'm happy with the ideas I was able to form with this. But a game design document is helpful if you're collaborating. If you're working with a team, if you have more than one person, and you need to very clearly communicate the ideas, the themes, the rules, a game design document can be useful for that. But I would be cautious about spending time on it, because I really don't think that you will like the things in your game design document in a year. If I wrote a game design document 1 year ago, I would look at it right now and be disgusted by my ideas. I'd be like, what was I thinking? And I say that a lot because that happens to me a lot, where I look at things that I made 1 year ago and I'm embarrassed by it. I look at the videos I posted on my YouTube channel. Well, I guess last year's YouTube videos are pretty good, but 2 years ago, I'd say. I look at those videos, I'm like, oh no, those are terrible. Or like especially like my thumbnails or my titles. There's some titles and thumbnails that I am so embarrassed by. But that's part of the learning process. That's just how you do it. Plans are worthless. Planning is essential. That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. Planning is essential because I do plan things a lot. You have to go. Thank you for stopping in, Snippet. Planning is super important to me. I spend a lot of time planning, and that's led to a lot of really good and important ideas and discoveries. But those plans, like you said, they never stay in place. They are always changing. And if I put a plan into a game design document, I have to skip this song because the drums are too loud. What a bummer. I like this song, but it's just too annoying. We'll listen to Undertale instead. I don't even remember what I was thinking about. When is live going to end? In about an hour. I wish the night was in Super Smash Bros. Oh, I would love that. That'd be really cool. Is there any Hollow Knight reference in Smash Bros? That'd be really. I'm surprised that there's not. If they got the Undertale stuff. What will be the system requirements for Moonshire? Oh, you could run it on anything. Because even if the frame rate gets lowered, it'll be able to. Handle it fine. Not on Twitch. No, I'm just doing YouTube for now. I like doing just one at a time because then the chat can all be in one place. And YouTube is better for me just because that's where my audience is. I have more people watching from there. What am I doing now? So I was working on pixel art. I was working on this little lady. Oh my gosh, it's so scary because the speed is up. Let's reset. Yeah, so I was working on these custom characters. So I have this really crappy walk animation. It's not good. I need to reiterate this. This is not good pixel art for this animation, but it is serviceable. It gets the idea across. That's one thing that you need to accept in game development too, is that get to the first draft as fast as you can. If you have an idea for something, implement it very quickly because you'll learn something by doing that. And like here, I learned something by doing this. I learned that like rotating sprites is like iffy, or I don't know. I guess I can decide which type of the hand do I want to keep. Do I want to keep the square hand or the like broken hand? Holy penguin walk, yeah, I know. It looked weird because it was so fast. Let's watch it again when it's not so quick. Also, I'm gonna turn off the conf. What is it? Conf. So I had my console turned on and it was popping up every time and annoying me. It sounds like I have a GDD, but it's just a note on my computer. I feel like the purpose of a GDD is to help make progress on your game, so whatever format will keep the ideas straight. I think that the purpose of a game design document is to communicate the vision. I think that's the purpose of the game design document, is to communicate the vision. There's no need for a game design document if you're the only person working on it. How about this? Have you guys ever had like a dirty or like a messy apartment or a messy room, but you still knew where everything was? Like your mom tells you to clean your room because like how do you find anything in here? But you always know where everything's at. It's the same thing with a game design document. If someone else came into your room and everything's a mess, they wouldn't be able to understand what you're doing. It's too messy. Even though you know what you're doing, you know where everything's at. But if you cleaned your room and made it nice and concise and clear, it's a lot easier for people that you're collaborating with to know what's going on because, you know, it's organized. When it's not organized, like when all the notes are on my computer in my OneNote, that's only useful to me because no one else is able to read through that, or like it's organized in a way that only I would understand. Same with like, have you ever taken notes at school and you like chicken scratch it? Like you write it in the ugliest handwriting just because you're trying to write it really fast. It doesn't matter if it's super good looking. You just need to make it readable so that you yourself can read it. Maybe it doesn't matter if anyone else can read it. It's your own handwriting. I can read my handwriting better than anyone else can read mine. That's an extremely good example. Thank you. I'm very proud of my examples. I think I do a good job of drawing comparisons. But let's see what she looks like now. So this is the normal speed. It still looks weird. Like, let's be real. This looks very strange. I think I'm going to make the... I think I should make it more where she's, like, walking forward. Because right now she's kind of, like, walking from left to right. Show us my handwriting. No. I'm not going to do that. Well, actually, I don't even know how I would. Because... Here, actually, I can. Because I was writing notes recently. Soul provides all specific info about a mob. So that's my handwriting. It's actually not that bad. It's pretty readable. But it's definitely not good. And if I was sharing these notes with other people, I would put more effort into making those notes look nicer. How am I drawing the rain? I'm struggling a lot with my own, looking for some aid. Yeah, sure. So I did just kind of talk about it a little bit, but the rain droplets, I think... I don't even know if I have a sprite for it. I might just be drawing a rectangle. 1 second. I'm gonna make sure I don't have a... Okay, so let's see if we can find this, because I genuinely don't remember, because it's been so long since I made that rain. I made it for Legend of Lua, I think. So rain... Okay, so the weather spawns a rain effect. So if I go to my effects, and I find rain... There's actually 2 types, rain and drip. So the drips are slower, like when you're in a cave, how the ceiling drips in a cave. It's similar to rain, but they have slightly different properties. So in this case, oh, yeah, there is. It's called Sprites Effects Rain. That's the stupidest thing on the planet. Why would I put it here? My sprites are so disorganized. Here it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is my rain. It is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pixels. It is a 5-pixel rectangle. That is my rain droplet. And then each droplet, I spawn each one, and each one has its own logic. It spawns, and its direction is down to the left. That's what this angle is. I think there's some randomness. Yeah, so it has some randomness on how far to the left it goes. So I guess like how angled it is. Pixel art has peaked. I haven't seen too many good pixel art games recently. I mean, there are still some really good ones that come out. I think Sea of Stars is seriously the best looking pixel art game ever. You and add Thundersword for rain. I mean, like in the Steam header. The Steam header has a cool Thundersword. I love that one. You were in school for the last hour? Thank you for stopping in, Bilal. So, I was going to say, what else was I doing? So, it has its rotation set from the direction vector. And yeah, what I was saying before is each droplet tweens from up left to bottom right. And it does that. In Love 2D, I use flux to do that. So I'm fluxing RX to final X and RY to final Y. Actually, this was a long time ago that I wrote this. So you can consolidate all of these into one single flux call. There was no need for me to do this. Actually there was, because the alpha is different. Never mind. They do need to be separated because they all have different easing types. So it looks like it fades in slowly, or it fades in quickly. It fades in, and then it moves horizontally in a linear easing type, and then vertically it falls like with gravity, so it accelerates going down. It's a little bit complicated, actually. But really, all that it is it's drawing a line from the upper left of the screen to the bottom left of the screen, and then tweening a rectangle from there to there. Can you put what you have in general so you can see what you're working with? Oh yeah, sure, of course. You get good at pixel art. The only way is to do it over and over again. Same with a pixel, or same with a Hollow Knight boss. Like, you find a new Hollow Knight boss, and then you fight it, and then you die, and then you fight it, and then you die again, and then you do that a bunch of times, and then each time you do it, though, you get a little bit farther into the fight, right? And then eventually, you're able to get through the entire thing. And then fight a second time, and then you can beat it, like, repeatedly, on repeat, no problem. It's easy at that point. And it's the same with pixel art. How's the cat? She's doing awesome. Thank you for asking about Misty. She's doing good. She's napping in the bedroom, and she's sitting on the windowsill watching people walk by. Can I explain why you were using villager sprites as enemies? Oh, because I want to make it so that any character or any mob like this guy I want them to all use the same logic as the enemies, because, like, you can hit an NPC like this, but they don't retaliate, they don't walk, they don't move, they just stand motionless in place, and it feels uncanny. So the goal is to make it so that every character, every human character at least, has an idle animation, and they also have a walk animation. So that way, if they need to move, they can move. And then if they need to attack, they can at least walk up and attack. Instead of just like standing in place, sliding around, which is what was happening, you know, before. What program do we use for pixel art? Yeah, it's called a sprite. So let's try adjusting this real quick. Whoop. Let's scoot this one in a little bit. That's okay. How did I learn Love to D in Lua? Use sheep pollution? Yeah, I think I looked at the sheep pollution guides back in the day when he first posted them. There was a tutorial on YouTube that I watched, but the only way that I learned Love to D was after I got the fundamentals, like just watched a few tutorials and figured out the basics. Then it was just a matter of making a bunch of small, simple games. So I made Breakout, was my first one, and I played that on stream recently, where it's just a ball bouncing back and forth. They were like making Pong, making Space Invaders. I know I repeat myself all the time. I say the same thing every stream, but yeah, that's exactly what I did though. And that's why I keep saying it, because it worked for me. I made Atari Breakout in Love 2D, and that made me more confident to make Necrozone, which made me more confident to make like Cavern, which made me more confident to make Destination 31, whatever I made. And then I made something else. I don't know. I made a whole bunch of like little games. Cavern's on GitHub. Actually, I don't know. I listed off a few extras in there that were out of order. I can't quite remember. What resources do I recommend for Love to D? There's a few that I definitely recommend for pretty much every project. I would recommend Animate. I think this is the best animation library. I would recommend Flux. I think this is the best tweening library. I would recommend Hump Camera. This is what I use for my camera. And I would recommend Hump Vector. This is what I use for my vector. I think these two are very good. I don't use the others though. I don't use Class or Game State or Signal or Timer or Vector Light. I probably could use Vector Light. I don't think I use any of the complicated vector stuff, but I like this one. Lip Service is mine. That's my bubbles. Simple tiled implementation is how I import the tiled maps into Love 2D. So any particular level is designed using this software here. And you can export these maps as Lua files, going up to File Export, and then you can export as Lua. And then this simple tiled implementation, or STI, as it's very appropriately called, is able to import all of that Lua stuff and render your game map, which is how my tiles get rendered every frame. So there's that. Winfield is obfuscated, or not obfuscated. Winfield is deprecated. I would not recommend Winfield anymore. I still use it, and I guess I would still recommend it today, but in a few months, whenever Love 12 comes out, Winfield's not going to work anymore, and the whole experience of working with physics in Love 2D is going to be very different. So I think all of us are probably going to have to start kind of semi from scratch, or use our own wrappers, or I'll have to post a new tutorial on YouTube showing how to use that, depending on what software we land on. But I'm very confident that Winfield is not going to be a part of the equation anymore once Love 12 comes out. But until then, I do still think it's good. You use it for physics. It's just a helpful physics library. Why did I steal your screen name? I don't think it was me that stole your screen name. Like, who's the one with the @Chalcade, like, @ name? It's definitely me. Baton is input. Bitzer is for saving. Actually, I don't think that I would recommend Bitzer. Oh, Bitzer is for... What do I use Bitzer for? I can't remember. Oh, it is serialization. Yeah, this is for saving and loading. Draft. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is for drawing complex shapes. So in my game, there's a few spots where like it draws stars. Here. Yeah, like here. So it's Draft is a library that draws these stars. So Draft is able to draw a bunch of like weird, unusual shapes. Do I think I'm going to update to Love 12 or just keep it at 11? It depends on what features Love 12 has. I probably will want to update it. Because in the long term, I do plan to update this game and make changes and fix things in the long term. So being updated to the latest version of Love 2D is pretty important for that. Because even if Love 12 doesn't have all of the updates that I would want, Love 13 might. And if Love 13 has it, then I'll have to update it at that point. So it's probably for the best. I think it was called Snowfield. Yeah, there's a remake called Breezefield that's decent. But Breezefield doesn't have all of the features that Windfield has. Windfield has octagon shapes and Breezefield does not. And all of my hitboxes happen to be octagons. So it's an important aspect for me. It's a minor feature. It's something that I could fix within a few hours if I needed to, but it's at the end of the day, if something already works, I don't know if it's worth fixing it. Any ETA on Moonshire, it's hard to say. I know I've been spending a long time on it, but the mechanics just keep changing. I don't know if you ever worked on platformer, but what's the key features to make them feel great? Like coyote time and input buffering. Yeah, like those are both really good examples. And like finding the right gravity speed, a really common issue that I see with platformers is that their gravity is too high or too low. So it's just like one of those things where if the gravity's too high, everyone's jumping really, really fast. And I feel like a lot of beginner platformers are like that, where it's too fast. And sometimes it's okay to slow it down, and sometimes it's okay to speed it up. Finding the right speed's a really tough aspect for that. Actually, the YouTuber GMTK, Game Maker Toolkit, he made a platformer testing engine. So he made this like open source free game that you can like download and run, and it allows you to tweak a bunch of different pieces of the platformer, like the friction, like Wolf said, or the jump height, or how fast everything is, how much gravity there is, if there's coyote time, what the animations are like. There's so many different aspects of a platformer that you can make yours feel very unique and still feel good. Is Love open source? Yeah, it is. So I know this stream is about making new characters. Let's go ahead and see if this looks slightly better. I think it'll look a little bit better doing it this way. What's its name? Oh, I can't remember what the name of it is, but you'd have to find the, if you find Game Maker's Toolkit on YouTube, he has a video talking about it. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the name of the software would be. The height of the NPC. Oh, that's cool. So let's see what happens when I spawn the little lady. Okay, so this walk cycle is not good. Again, I keep saying that, but I think that this cycle is serviceable enough that if I saw it in the final game, I really wouldn't think twice about it. Like when you look closely at this, it doesn't look super great, but I really don't think I would think anything of it. I think it looks fine. So moving on, let's do the same thing, but let's do it on the sailor. Let's do something like this. So we'll take this guy. Allfather, I'm looking at what? Oh, I remember. You were asking to look at something. I don't know if I want to look at it on stream. Because I haven't vetted it. Actually, here, I'll look at it real quick off stream, and then I'll show it on stream. Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm not going to unzip something on stream. That's not something I can do right now. So let's take this guy right here. I copied too much. That's fine. Yeah, remind me after stream. I will take a look at it after stream because I want to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for stuttering so much. I do want to see how other people are doing that because I haven't looked at my reign for so long that it would be nice to see what, in general, other people are solving the same problem with. Did I ever have a brain stroke? I don't think so, but maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's what was. Maybe that's the cause of all my problems. Oh, you're not disturbing my flow. You're totally fine. Let's grab this guy. Yeah, whenever you rotate a sprite, it always gets a little bit weird. So let's just do something like this. I think that the ladies' walk cycle looked nice because I was very subtle with the arms. They didn't swing that much. And this for this guy, his shoe needs to change direction, so we'll flip that. This is gonna be hard. Hey, you want to fight some NPCs? Yeah, that's kind of part of the goal here is that I want to make it so that all NPCs can like do anything that an enemy would do. And therefore you'd be able to fight them. Have I played Chrono Trigger? Yeah, I did. I emulated it on my first laptop when I was a kid, and I loved it. I love Chrono Trigger. It's very good. I think it holds up even. The reason why I like Chrono Trigger so much is it's unusual from other RPGs. It respects your time. It's a short game. I think it takes 20 hours to get through, but it's so dense. It's like the opposite of most JRPGs. It's so dense and it's like every part of it is good and important. One of my all-time favorites. CG Kraz, yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites too. Thank you for stopping in, appreciate that. Add a parachute. One thing I want to do is I want to add a character that like floats on balloons because there's a balloon mini game. So let's how about like this? I always take very big risks whenever I do pixel art on stream because I can't stress this enough. I am not super comfortable with pixel art. I'm kind of okay at it, but it's a lot of trial and error for me. So, like, it's a little bit embarrassing when I kind of just like flub my way through sprites like this. Have I ever played Dead Cells or Hyper Light Drifter? Yes, I played both of those. I love Dead Cells, but I can't make it very far. It's so hard. Like, is it just me? But I really can't make it farther than like the second or third boss on Dead Cells. I think that I made it to the third boss maybe, but I struggled so hard with Dead Cells. And Hyper Light Drifter, I love Hyper Light Drifter. I love the aesthetic. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from that game. But my problem with Hyper Light Drifter is something about it isn't very gripping. It feels a little bit dry, and maybe it's the lack of dialogue. Maybe it's the very soft atmosphere to it. So I also didn't beat that one. I also only beat 1 or 2 bosses in that. The other thing about Hyper Light Drifter is it does this thing where it tells you exactly where you're going to go right from the very start. And I don't like that. It's this dumb trope that some games do, where it's like, first you're gonna go through this forest, and then you're gonna go through this mountain, and then you're gonna go through the deep seas, and then finally you'll emerge at your final destination. And it's like, well, thanks, you just spoiled the entire game for me. I don't like it when games do that. I want it to be a surprise where you're gonna go. Am I a Star Wars fan, and have I played any of the Jedi games? I've seen all the movies, but I have not played the Jedi games. The only Star Wars games I played like Lego Star Wars when I was a kid a lot, and I loved it. I wrote my own Star Wars fan fiction when I was a kid, so I was a Star Wars fan, but probably these days not very much. This is very bad. Excuse me. This is horrible. That looks really, really terrible. I don't think that this one... I think this one's going to be a lot harder. I thought that without legs... That's so bad. I'm going to start over. It's so bad. Let's try this again. Lego Star Wars Complete Saga is complete gaming. Is that the recent one that came out? Because I think that if that recent one, the one with like episodes 1 through 9, if that came out when I was the right age, when I was, because I was really into Lego Star Wars 1 and 2, if the Complete Saga came out at that time, I would have lost my mind. I would have been so excited. It would have been the best day of my life. Okay, so this guy is getting kind of difficult to animate. And you know, I shouldn't have deleted the whole thing. I should just delete the feet. It's just the feet. I'm feeling defeated by the feet. Because I think his hands look okay. No, this one needs to stick out a little bit more. You don't need to include the first frame? No, so... In this one, I do. This one's not a walk cycle. So this is the idle animation. The reason I'm grabbing the first frame is because in this first frame, he's at a lower bob. So I was talking about earlier how the walk cycle animation needs a bit of vertical bobbing up and down. And that I'm trying to keep track of that, where this one's lower than these two. Maybe I can bump. This is tough. That's okay. Let's try that. You're having trouble making white antlers on your character's head. Yeah, that sounds a little bit complicated. The problem with skinny objects like antlers is that antlers are... it's the same as like with a sword. Let me come up with a good example. So if I was drawing an antlers, like let's say I wanted to give this guy antlers, I would like draw something like this. And now the problem that I face is that, I mean, these are horrible antlers. It would actually go the other way, wouldn't they? More like this. So if I was giving this guy antlers, I would now need to add an outline to it. And you're so restrained by your pixel size that it makes it so hard. It makes it very hard to draw skinny parts of a character. And then you're left with no options. So if I didn't like how this looked, like what do? I can't make it skinnier and I can't make it wider, because if you make it wider, like let's say I used a 2 pixel width for these antlers and did this instead, well, this is gonna look way too like wide. Looks more like horns. So that's a tricky aspect with pixel art, is that since you're so constrained by the number of pixels, sometimes you have to make some like weird sacrifices. What's this character for? Oh, the sailor. So actually, Ellie drew the main sprite, and now I'm just animating it. I'm not really sure what I'm using it for. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna want to have him in the game. He's just a nice looking character, so I'll probably want to have him somewhere. So like the bob looks good and his hands look good too. I just need to make his legs and feet. Maybe I can have more of his, like, brown legs showing. I need an antlered version of this man. It's such a clash in theme, isn't it? Horned antler. That sounds really neat. It's fun bringing like artistic ideas like that to life because, like, sometimes it's hard to put into words everything that you want to do with a character. That's not it. What did I do with the lady? Hers looked okay. I mean, I don't think this looks that good. I don't think I'm gonna use that as a as a reference. Have I played anything new recently? Yes, actually. I started playing Expedition 33. So if you haven't heard of that, it just came out and it's from like a new developer. It's their first game, I think. Oh, this is actually a good shape. It's a JRPG. It's turn-based style. I think they're French. So I think it's a French developer. So, you know, Wolf, maybe you should try it out. I think you'd like it. It's all French theming, and I think that the studio themselves are French. Clair Obscur, yeah, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It is awesome. The reason I'm playing it is because it reviewed so good is what I tried to say. I was reading something else and it reviewed so good. You're not French though? Well, you speak French, excuse me. There's a lot of French language, and a lot of stuff doesn't get translated in the English dub, and there's a lot of French dialect and idioms, so I think that you would still enjoy a lot of it. I know that you're not French. I know. Hopefully that's not offensive for me to refer to you as French when you are just a French speaker. Hydrate, thank you. But yeah, I'd recommend everyone. Oh, your dad bought the game, really? Yeah, yeah. Ask him how it is. Yeah, I pointed that out because they intentionally left some things untranslated, and I don't even know what they're saying. And I think it would be cool to have that insight. Wow. It's been a while since I heard the original edit or the original mix of the song. It sounds funny with the mid-eye instruments. I think that I last heard the Smash Bros. Mix. That's not good. I can ask you anytime. I probably will. Well, so the problem is, like, the characters just talk in French sometimes, and like I can't even pick up on what words they're saying. It's actually kind of funny. It's a cool game. This was the music composer's first game. The music is so good. Oh, for Clair Obscur, I am shocked at how good the music is in Clair Obscur. This foot. I was gonna say something different. This foot ain't going so good. I'm having trouble with this foot. Yeah, Clair Obscur's music is amazing because it's a good mix of, like, how do I describe it? It's a mix of, like, orchestral, big, grand, like, operatic, like, you know, typical fantasy music. But there's a lot of, like, cool rock music or pop music, dance music. Some of the boss fights, it's just playing dance music as you fight them. It's so good. That's exactly what I want. That's what I am doing with Moonshire, because like I put dance music for my boss fights too sometimes, and I like that. I think that's really, really cool. If you're asking about the engine framework, it's Love2D. Yeah. I am struggling. I'm on the struggle bus with this guy. Maybe here. Let's copy this. I think his crotch needs to be the same. Maybe not. Maybe it needs to be wider. I think that his foot needs to be more flat on the ground. Oh, not my beloved, indeed. I love the song. There was this game, I don't know if it's still in development, Oddity. It was called Mother 4 back in the day. And composer for that game made a town theme for that starting town. And it's like Onet inspired. And I still remember it. It was that good. I wish that Oddity would come out, or I wish that, I wish that Mother 4 in its originality came out. Do I use GameMaker or Godot? I used GameMaker back in the day, but no, today I just use Love2D. I don't use Godot. This is the worst foot I've ever seen. I've seen many a foot in my life, and this is one of the worst. I'll tell you that much. Okay. That's a step in the right direction, so to speak. It just looks wrong. Something about it looks so strange. So when I'm walking, this is okay. It's not good. I think that I've reached the point now where it's almost okay. It's still not good. It's still so bad. This is so bad. I think that the foot needs to be more flat on the ground. I think that the feet need to be more flat is the main thing. So... Are they... Maybe they're too big? I like how this left foot looks. I'm sorry I'm not paying attention to chat for a moment. I'm gonna have to make another frame for the in-between, but... Well, that makes his feet look too small now. Whoop. Yeah, I like the bigger feet. I think it looks better. Have I played Cookie Clicker? No, I've not played Cookie Clicker specifically, but it was sure popular when I was in school. I'm trying to think if I've played any Cookie Clicker-like game, because that's the type of game that I would get sucked into, I'm sure. Thankfully, I haven't. I don't think I have. I'm not a fan of this, but it's okay. So, for this in-between sprite, I'm gonna flip his leg like this. Have I played Dream Barbecue? I'm not familiar with that. Can you make a Metroidvania game with Love2D or Godot? Yeah, definitely. So any of those frameworks... This looks so funny. Any of those frameworks will be able to make any game that you can think of. There's no limitation there. Have I seen the Minecraft movie? No, I haven't seen that. I do want to see it because, you know, it's like the most profitable movie ever. And it's a video game movie. I see every video game movie, so I might as well see it. But I didn't want to see it in theaters for reasons. I don't think I need to say any more. I'm gonna go ahead and try and put this guy in there. I don't like this walk cycle that much, but it's serviceable. maybe I should make this... I think I need to add another black dot here, maybe? No, that looks weird. I think this looks fine. If he hasn't played Hollow Knight... Oh, I played Hollow Knight, don't worry. I'm gonna play Silk Song day 1. Assuming it's on... it's not a Switch exclusive. If there's any Switch 2 exclusive... so if Deltarune Part 3 is a Switch exclusive, or if Silk Song is a Switch exclusive, then I will get a Switch 2 on day 1. Or I'll try to, at least. Because those are games I would need. Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, I don't feel like I need those. I do want to play them for sure, but it's not quite as pressing, you know. So let's go ahead and make our new row. I'll call this. There we go. And let's also draw the grid to make it even more clear. Kaya, hi! Thank you so much! Tried the Ball Villager thing. It is on Discord. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it. Let's see. Aw, look at this! That's adorable. That is so cool. I love that. That's so cool. I can make that an emote on the stream. Or sorry, not on the stream, on the Discord server. Considering Toby's history with Nintendo games. Yeah, that's a good point. And the song playing is kind of relevant too. So I'm gonna do 24 by 30, I think. There we go. So let's... Below the Stone Official. Gonna head out. Good catching you live. Have a good rest of the stream. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you were able to be here. But Kaya, thank you again for the donation. That's really kind of you. Also, is it Kaya or Kaya? Hopefully I'm saying Kaya. It's like my name, Kyle. So I'm gonna grab this one, and we're gonna put this one here in frame 2, actually. I want to see a good studio make a good Hollow Knight movie or show. I mean, that would be cool. See, the problem with a Hollow Knight movie or show is that the knight doesn't talk. Like, would they make the knight talk? Kaya said it correct. Okay, cool. I will remember that. How do you make the thing for sprite sheets? How do I make the thing for sprite sheets? If you're talking about like this is just a big image that I'm putting a bunch of pixel art into. And then this is, I'm using new frames. So you can go up to, I think it's frame, and then there's new frame, or Alt-N. And then you can just add more frames to the animation. And then you can Control E to export as a sprite sheet. It organizes everything however you want. But like we were talking about earlier, I have a bad habit of just manually making my sprite sheets like this. But that's okay. Let's go back to human. And let's spawn a sailor. And he should do this. He should do the same thing as the walking lady. How did I play Horizon Zero Dawn? I actually did not. I actually didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that I would like overall because I like the aesthetic. I like the characters. I think it looks nice. The problem is, Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, it came out the week before Breath of the Wild. And then Horizon Zero Dawn 2 came out a week before Elden Ring. And I'm so sorry, but I just really like those other games more. Or I shouldn't say that because I didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn. I should give it a shot because I would like the aesthetics. But it's very unfortunate that that series got one-upped by other games that came out at the same time. Have I seen the chat in Nintendo streams just drop the prices? Yeah. Yeah, I actually stopped in on the Nintendo's, what is it called? The Treehouse live stream. And it's just people saying that. It's so funny. But I don't think that, I don't think that they're going to change their prices. And I don't think that they need to change their prices. And I think people are still going to buy all of this stuff at the higher prices. I think people have already accepted it. And the evidence for that is that the pre-orders are still selling out. So I think people are okay with the prices. $80 games is a very frustrating reality to be in, but I think it is the new norm. I think that the Pandora's box has been opened, and it ain't getting shut again. Is Moonshire going to be laggy because it played Minecraft World 5? Yeah, it's gonna. Hopefully, it'll run better than Minecraft because it's got less going on, but I don't know for sure. The game won't be laggy. I'm hoping it won't for anyone. We've been doing a lot of testing, and it seems to run pretty well on most computers. And if there's any more optimization I can do, then I'll be doing it. Have I played Dream Barbecue? No, I'm not. I have not heard of that. So we got. Oh yeah, did I test out the sailor yet? I forgot. I think I started the game and then I forgot to do it. Oh, I forgot to make it so I spawned one. That's what I forgot to do. Okay, so instead of spawning a human shopkeeper, we'll spawn a human sailor. It does not look very good. This is what you call a first draft. Which is okay. Everyone starts with a first draft at some point. Do you use something like a state machine for the player? No, not exactly. So, I mean, kind of. Everything in Lua has states. Everything has values. So the player has all of these different properties. And every single frame, it evaluates what these properties are and decides what to do. And some of these states are higher level than others. Like, if the player's state is in rolling, like if the player is rolling, there's no need for me to test any of these other values because they don't pertain to rolling. Like slash, or sparked, or stab, or item get. A lot of these are only used in very specific scenarios. And in that sense, yes, I do use state machines because a lot of state values are only used under certain states. But I think when people say state machine, they are thinking more of the built-in state machine patterns that change the actual behavior of certain things. Like functions behave differently based on the game state or based on the state machine. What's looking in the A looking my VS Code? That is Azure Resources and Azure Workspace. So I use that to work on websites. So when I worked at Microsoft, I worked on Microsoft Azure, which is this, and I'm working on a website for my stuff, and I'm going to be using Azure to do that. I'm thinking of switching to Linux from Windows for game dev with Love2D, and cybersecurity as the main goal. Any thoughts? I think that's fine. I think that would be a good experiment. I think that you should make the switch and try it. And I think that you should do it without like a commitment. It's the same as if you were like moving cities. Like I want to move to New York City. And like that sounds like a huge big move, but you don't have to make it that way. You can just move to New York City for a month and live there for a while to see if you like it. And it's the same with Linux. You can install Linux. In fact, you could make a separate partition on your Windows computer that's a separate Windows boot version, and then you can have a dual booted computer and try them both out at once. I'm saying that you can use Linux for a while, and if you do like it, then yeah, you should definitely use it. You should definitely use Linux if that's what you like over Windows. I'm going to continue using Windows just because I really get it. Like I'm too efficient with Windows at this point to switch, but I understand the appeals of Linux. Don't recommend some useful apps are not supported on Linux. So the main reason why I don't use Linux is because there's too many apps that I use that wouldn't work. And that's why a dual booted machine I think is a really good option, because then if you can use Linux full time, but if for some reason you needed a Windows application, you wouldn't have to run like an emulator to get it running. You could still make it work. So I think that that's probably a good way to do it, at least at the start. Once you get your workflow set up and you know what apps you need and which ones you can use and what alternatives you have, it's very possible that you won't need Windows at all, because like Linux does the vast majority of things that Windows can do. It's just the only question is all the software there. So if you got everything that you need, I think that Linux would be a fantastic option. Sorry, there's a bit of delay between when the stream chat pops up and when it's showing up on my video version. Well, I hate when I mess up my hair and it looks stupid. Whatever. Is there a way to have a live update window for Love so you can see the changes happening in real time? If there is a way to do that, I do not know how to do it. And the weird part about it is there are aspects of my game that do get live loaded, like the game maps. I would say that anything that gets live load or anything that gets loaded from a file probably could. Like save data. Actually, save data is like that too. But I'll show an example. So if I open up the game, so let's say that I wanted to test out the game without this tree here. I wanted to remove this tree from the map. It would be annoying if I had to go into tiled, find the right map. Where is it? It's right here. And then let's zoom in. Tree blossom. I'm going to remove that tree. Okay, so I'm going to save, and now I'm going to export. Now, the way tiled integrates with Love2D and like the simple tiled implementation, I actually do not need to restart the game to get that change in place. If I leave this map and come right back, it loaded the new map. So how that works is the map data is stored in a Lua file, and the moment that the map is loaded, it looks at that Lua file for all of the objects that get loaded in, and it loads them in. And so since that file is like external, it's not compiled with the game, it's able to externally read that file. So if that file changes on the fly, it's able to catch that change. And similarly, if I undo that and save and export, and then I go right back, our tree is back. How nice. What do I think you'll do with the bones? What I think we'll do with bones? I removed bones. I'm sorry. I put bones in there because it makes sense to have bones scattered about. It makes sense for them to be buried underground or like you find them in the water. But my problem is I couldn't find something to do with them. I couldn't find a good use that made sense. So I have a new set of 5 resources. So there's only going to be 5. There's going to be seeds, gold. There's going to be... What else? I can't believe I can't remember my own stuff. What else do we have in the game? Diamonds is another one. Then there's the charcoal from the fires. That's on the chopping block, though. And then mushrooms. So I would say for sure, I'm going to have seeds, gold, mushrooms, and diamonds. And then the last one, charcoal, is on the chopping block. I'm not sure. Rings, like Sonic. That'd be cool. Every ring makes you go faster. Maybe a currency for devil worshippers. That sounds scary. I mean, maybe they like diamonds. That's kind of the thing that I'm trying to do here. Is even 5 resources I don't think is necessary. Here's my ideal world. Like, let's say seeds. It would be cool if, like, I made a golden seed. So then the seeds are gold, and you can trade the seeds as if they were money, but they're still seeds, so you can plant the seeds, and then they grow. I think that that's a cool idea because it combines both of these things into one, and then now you... I think I'm going to do that, actually. I think that the farmer can tell you that the gold is actually seeds. Should I do that? I actually like that idea. If I did that... I would... I don't know. Am I planning to add a mushroom area? Yeah, actually, so the rain area that I was showing earlier, cemetery, I'm planning to make this a mushroom-themed area. because this is going to be where you get the mushroom items, and then I have a very specific use that the mushrooms are going to be used for, but I can't tell you what it is. It's a big secret. You want to make a place where can play mini games? Yeah, so I have a plan for that. In where would this be? This is D4. So in the current Steam demo that's on Steam right now, there's a mini game where you pick up a boomerang and you throw it at balloons to pop them. And I'm gonna put that back in the game. It's not in the game right now because I have to reprogram the mobs again. But it's gonna be a setup where like balloons spawn around the island, and you just have to throw a boomerang off the island to hit them. Whoop! I missed. Do I play Roblox? No, I've never played Roblox before. I think that if it came out a little bit earlier, it would have been perfect for me, but no. Excuse me. Can you use cheats in the game like you use it now? Yeah, in fact, in the Steam demo, you can open up this menu. So if you press Control-Alt-D, Control-Alt-D, that's how you open up this menu to get all these cheats. When will the new demo release? I don't know. I'm sorry. I know that it's been taking so long. It almost feels like I keep getting farther because I keep changing my mind on what direction I want to take things, and it's just slowing things down like crazy. Yeah, I know it's a problem how long I'm taking, but the silver lining is that it really is going good. I'm so happy with all the new ideas I'm coming up with, and I'm happy with the new direction I'm taking things, but the big problem is just that it takes way too long. All this time that I'm spending is just way too much. Let's do... I only have 10 more minutes left of stream, but let's see if I can get a first draft of the farmer in place. So here's the base farmer. This is going to be his walk out frame. Okay, and then we're gonna get his I think I'm gonna use this one because his hands are in a better position. I am gonna have to change his feet like I did with the he looks like he's seen something. A little bit, yeah. No, I can make it worse. I didn't even mean to do that. And now he's a creepypasta. Okay, so here's our farmer. Okay. He's got the big scary like black eyes, like sinister or something. Okay, so let's start animating his walk cycle. So first his hands are gonna come out. See, the tricky part with this is that I had to keep the black outlines. I need to flip this foot. Oh, wait, no, wait. Yeah, I do. What do I think about Notch making Minecraft 2? He said that he was going to make Minecraft 2, which, different name a while ago. Yeah, I saw that he said that. I think that he was being kind of facetious when what he meant, because he's like... I think when he says Minecraft 2, I don't know if he means that it's going to be another, like, world builder or, like, voxel-based Minecraft game. Because he doesn't own the rights to Minecraft anymore, so I don't think that he can make Minecraft 2. I think what he meant when he said Minecraft 2 was he's going to make his next big thing. Minecraft was the biggest thing, and I think he's just saying he wants to try doing something again. That's how I interpreted that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is actually trying to make Minecraft 2. That just wouldn't make sense to me if he did. It just wouldn't be necessary. Minecraft makes so much money as it is. Can I make Moonshire too? Yeah, yeah, I hope so. I don't know, maybe. In general, I'm actually not too big of a fan of like numbered sequels, because that puts a lot of pressure to for people to play the original, and that's not really what I would want. Should I have it like this, or should I have him have like a little booty, like that? Oh, I can't save this. Is that farmer to scare crows? I know. I just gave him scary eyes because I thought it was funny, or because someone said something that inspired me to do that. Why does his eyes look like that? All right, let's fix it. Let's fix it. Oop. That doesn't look right either. That looks like the Goonies, whatever his name is. There we go. Okay. I wouldn't say I'm super happy with this. I got jump scared. That looks really bad. His hands are like big boxing gloves. That's just how I draw hands. I probably should learn how to draw hands better. It's just like a weird... I don't know. Drawing hands is hard. Like, that's what artists struggle with in real life, too. Drawing hands. See, this doesn't look right because now it looks like he's, like, reaching out. It looks so weird. By the way, I noticed that I say the phrase, looks so strange. I say that all the time, so I'm trying to catch myself before I say it next time. That looks so strange. That's like my go-to phrase. I've been saying it way too much. I must have heard someone say it, and then now I can't stop saying it. I'm kind of butchering this hand a bit. Also, I'm gonna get rid of the double shading for a moment because that's making it harder. Ugh. I think that needs that. Okay. It's still sticking out too far. Let's move this in. Yeah, that's plenty. That's plenty. I need to fix his like cheese grater hand now. That looks pretty good. Let's add back the skin shade. I need to get that white dot back in there. That looks pretty good. I wouldn't say, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Pretty good is a little bit strong, but it looks fine. Maybe I can maybe I can give him a shoulder? No. Can't give him a shoulder. The only thing I can think of is if I moved this in. But then that makes his arm too big. Or his hand too big. Oh! I don't know, dude. This is hard. I like my game's art style. Thank you. Have I seen Core Keeper graphics? That sounds familiar. Maybe I have. I can't remember. Have I finished woman animation? I mean, I finished it enough. We're gonna stick with this first draft of these 2 frames, and it works. It looks okay. This frame looks good, where he's like the middle frame. So let's try and get this looking a little bit better. See, the thing about toes is that they curl upwards, but things don't curl well in pixel art at all. So putting curves on a foot makes it blocky. That's actually okay. And then yeah, that back foot is really tough. That looks not okay. It doesn't look good. How about? Oh, maybe that's okay. I'll call that good. That's fine. Looks good, man. Thank you, BJ. Did I read books about game design? Not exactly. So when I was a kid, my dad bought me The Game Maker's Apprentice, which is a book that teaches you how to use Game Maker. It's still around today. The book is outdated, but Game Maker is still around. And I love Game Maker. I'd recommend it. But that book taught me a lot of the fundamentals. Even though Game Maker isn't coding exactly, it does have a lot of coding like things about it. So there's a lot that I learned from that book. But I wouldn't say learning from a book is my preferred or recommended way of learning things, just because you can learn things by making things, even if you don't know how to make things yet. Like, the best way to learn guitar is just to play guitar a bunch, and like then you'll pick up on some of the fundamentals. Even though even if you don't know how to play guitar, the first step is to pick up a guitar and play some notes on it, and it's going to sound bad, and then someone can tell you, okay, here's how you play better notes. And then you go home and you practice the better notes for a while, and you just get better over time. So that's the only way to do it. What are your thoughts on the suggestion you made a while back? Which specific one? You might have to remind me. I'm sorry. I'd like to thank you for brightening my Mondays. Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind of you to say. But I gotta go. I mean, it's perfect timing because I'm at the end of my stream now, too, because it is past noon. And perfect timing. I can go grab some lunch. I'm getting hungry. Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? Oh, that's a tough choice. I like them both because I watched them both a lot when I was a kid growing up. I probably... I think I like Nickelodeon more. Just because I watched so much like SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron. I think Jimmy Neutron was my favorite when I was a kid. That's really good. In suggestions chat. Let me check it real quick. And that'll probably be the last one. Indie. Oh yeah, I remember I was talking about that. So the thing is, I don't even know if I want to do that just because I'm pretty comfortable doing 1 stream a week. I could bump it up to 2, and I love your idea of like an indie game like Wednesday or something where I'm playing an indie game, because I like to keep up on what indie games are coming out and that sort of thing. I do love that idea. My main concern is I don't want to burn myself out. Right now I'm loving streaming as it is, but I'm not streaming very much. It's like once a week. Should I stream more? Maybe I should. I like the suggestion though, especially about playing indie games, because I think that's what I should do. Oh, that looks so bad. That looks so bad. I screwed up this leg or this arm. Yeah, this needs to extend out because... one moment while I get this. It's still very bad. But I think this is... Oh, he's not bouncing either. I'm just realizing. Oh, I screwed up. I forgot to make him bounce. How did I mess that up? Okay, I gotta move all of this down. Oh, come on. What a dumb mistake. I shouldn't have done that. That looks okay. Okay, I think that was the big problem here, was that he wasn't bouncing. Yeah, that looks okay. Not super good. Perfect track to end stream. I know, it is the perfect track. Yeah. I think that on that note, I'm gonna call it quits. You know, maybe I should put this... I'm gonna go ahead and put this last sprite in, and we'll make him roam around. I might as well stay on for a few extra minutes, just in case, like, a few people didn't realize that stream started earlier, and then I can let them know. Horn Lantern? I like your username. With 24. Oh! I keep accidentally misclicking. I'm sorry if the stream's choppy. It says that it's not receiving enough bitrate. Oh, no, now it's better. Speaking from an animator's perspective, I think small issues in legs and arms should move opposite. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it should be more like... Where is this? Like, my walk cycle for the player is a lot better, because you can see the foot move, and it kind of corresponds with, like, the flapping cloak. And I'm with you. And also, the perspective is better, because this makes it look like it's more walking forward. Whereas these animations, or wherever it was, this is more like left and right. It's super basic. This is, the reason why I'm doing it this way is keeping it, when you have a 2-frame animation, you just have arms out and arms in. You know, I guess I see what you're saying. I guess I could have the arms out on the legs in one. I see what you're saying. I think I'm gonna keep it this way just because this is how, like, it's how, like, a Zelda NPC would walk, where it's just a 2-frame cycle and they're just going whap, 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 whap. It does look funny. Like, that's not how people walk. I think that's a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get these imported in. Okay, and then I think that right away I can just go ahead and change this to human farmer. And again, the farmer isn't supposed to attack you, but since I have it set to attack, that's why he's aggroed. So let's see what this looks like. It looks pretty bad. See, what looks bad about this, well, there's a million things that look bad about this, but, like, he's, like, leaning backwards. When he walks, his feet move forward, but it looks like he's leaning backwards when he walks. Yeah, I think that this farmer is the worst one. Also, he's very slippery. That's the slipperiest man I've ever seen. But I think on that note, I'm going to call it quits for the day. I am ready to go grab some lunch, and I'm going to play some more Expedition 33, because I am obsessed. It is so much fun. I've been watching one stream a week. I mean, I would like to do more, and I mentioned on stream how I did want to stream more, but at the same time, I had to find the right time, or the right game to play too. I do like the idea of indie games. I think that could work out right. Try making the arms go out when the legs go in, and vice versa. Yeah, I think someone else said something similar too, and I think that would look good. And I'll try that off stream some point. Do I cook? No, I buy food from restaurants, and it's not cost effective. Excuse me, but I think I'm pretty thrifty with it. The farmer looks like a penguin. Oh, it does look like a penguin. Yeah, that's how all these guys are walking. This is a penguin walk cycle. But yep, I'm gonna call it quits. I'm ready to go, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for stopping in. King Bloom, Binge Boy, Adele, King Bloom, I already said that, Traz Kami, Future 34 and Past, and Bilal, Allfather, thank you so much. I will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.